Alright, so working on this 425, just trying to get it a little cleaned up. I've got the body panels off, etc. And one video I have not done to date is to show how to remove the fender pan and the footrest on a 4-5 tractor, so 425, 445, 455. Reason I'm doing this is because the seat slides, you can see the seat's off, the seat base is off, it's sitting over there by the tire of the truck. The seat slides are very stuck. They have a bunch of grime and dirt and everything in there. You can see all that grime in there and whatnot. So I just want to take it off. I want to take the seat slides off and get them nice and clean. I can't do that outside right now because right now we are actually having I guess, kind of our first blizzard of the year. So that's the weather outside right now. It started snowing about 20 minutes, about 15 minutes ago. Been waiting on it all day. So you can see I'm kind of huddled in the shop today. There's no forecast good weather to get it out, get the pressure washer out or anything. So this will be I'll be in the shop for the rest of the year. But anyway, I'm going to take this fender pan off. First thing I've done, now taking the seat off, you don't have to take the seat off to remove the fender pan. You do have to take the seat switch off, and you have to take the rear taillights out. That's easy. In this case, these taillights, the lens covers are off, so they're just a twist out. Pretty easy. Basically, you just kind of, let me see if I can get down there. I don't know if you can see it, but basically you just reach up under there, you twist, and you pull out, and there's your tail light. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll set the camera up while I do this, and there's total of so I think 6 bolts, one there, and then 2 on the fender pans to take the fender pan off, and then the footrest. There's a couple others, but we'll go through that once we get there. So I'll set the camera up and we can go from there. So these bolts on the back of the fender pan, they're just 10mm bolts. I've found that a lot of times I can just use a 1/4 drive ratchet. None of these bolts should be overly tight. Certainly not something to be concerned about. Probably could have used an extension on my ratchet. So there's one. Well, not quite loose enough yet. You do have to take the gas tank cap off. So there's the second one. So those 2 are out. Now the next ones, I've got to reposition the camera because we're going to be looking underneath the fender pan. And so let me reposition the camera and we'll do the next one. Alright, so in this case I'm looking for that bolt, and then there's another bolt right here in front. So there's a total of 2 bolts on each side of the fender pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the flashlight off because I can't really hold the flashlight and do this at the same time. These are 10mm bolts as well. So literally all you have to do just put a wrench on one side and a ratchet on the other and go to town. These are normally they come off pretty easy as well. I don't think, this is a little bit more difficult than 318, 332, 420, 430, but all in all, not too terribly bad. If you have a 445 or 455, it might be worth jacking up the rear end and taking off the tires, simply because the 26, 12, 12 tires on the 445 and 455 are going to take up, they're going to take up a little bit more room, and because they're going to take up a little bit more room, they're going to don't know if you can get your hand in there if you have larger hands, stuff like that. 23 1050 tires are almost too big. And you know, if you got up under here and did this, it would probably be a little easier. And so now what I'm going to do, I've got this side out. Got to get the bolt out. Sometimes these bolts don't like to come straight out, but generally it just takes a little tap with a wrench or something to get them out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the other side, and then we'll pull the fender pan off. Alright, so I got all the 4 bolts off, the footrest, and I got the 2 bolts off back here. So now, got to take the gas cap off. Now, one thing to be careful of is probably there's going to be a lot of crap on this fender pan on the underside. You don't want to drop any of that into the fuel tank. So what you could do, you could just take gotta find what I'm looking for here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a paper towel and kind of stuff around it, and I think that'll stop it. Or you can also use a grocery bag. I've used lots of grocery bags before. And then what you can do is you can just lift up, you can finish wrapping that towel around it. And then it's just a matter of picking it up, getting the safety switch to pull back through, and then you can set the, what did I not get? Oh, I forgot to undo the other light. Then you can set the fender pan off to the side. Just like so. Not as dirty as I thought. That's certainly encouraging. So now we're going to turn our attention. I'm going to get rid of my towel here. Normally that'll actually be quite a bit dirtier than that. So I'm actually kind of excited that's not dirty at all. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take and we're going to take the footrest off. Alright, so to get the footrest off, one of the first things you have to do is you have to remove this reverse pedal. It's just got a jam nut on there. Sometimes they're really tight, sometimes they're really loose. What I've done in this case to cut down on the swearing and everything in videos, which this one was really tight, I've actually gone ahead and loosened it up. Loosen the jam nut up. Basically you can do this with 2 crescent wrenches if you want. But you can see all the rust there on the shaft and how rusty that is. So that's the forward pedal. It's now fixed, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to back this screw up, or this, sorry, screw. I'm going to back this nut up to the very top. That way we don't ruin these threads. Now, if you want to, you can always mark where the nut was. There's normally pretty good witness marks like you can see there, but I'm going to back this up to right there on the top. That way, moving everything around, I don't ruin the threads or anything like that. So now the next part is we're going to take the diff lock pedal off. That is normally just a really small, I can't remember the size, a really small bolt or screw. So I'm going to go over there. I'll probably just take a picture of that, edit over it, and be good to go there. Alright, so there's some pictures that will show the bolts that you have to take off on the left hand side of the machine for the footrest. I actually had to, and I ended up taking off the mat because one of the carriage bolts had actually rusted through. One of the reasons that you want to clean your machine quite a bit. Clearly this machine, it was taken care of, but it wasn't taken care of necessarily as well as it could have been. The deck height thing, you should just be able to lift that up and off the deck height. the assembly there. And come over here, and basically it's just a matter of lifting up and out, and there is the footrest. You can see I had to take off that one foot pad. So there's that. Now everything's exposed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple other things and put it all back together, and grease the drive shaft, stuff like that, check the valves on top of the transaxle, whatnot. We should be good to go. So hopefully that was helpful if you have to do any maintenance, such as adding the relief valve for a loader or something like that, or just general cleanup. They're pretty easy to get underneath the fender pan. The X series is very similar. I think there's a couple more bolts, but the X series is very similar. I know there's some plastic footrests or plastic fender pans versus metal fender pans, etc. So thanks for watching.